What's up, everybody? It's your man right here, the one and only, that beautiful Rhode Island Red Rooster, one of the original road warlords. And as always, bring you the knowledge and dropping the science in this industry of what we call trucking, okay? I'm doing this particular video to let guys know and stuff is that I will fight for you. I will fight for you for whatever issue that you're having. If you're a company driver, if you're in a lease, if you're an own operator, to give you a better understanding about that or what you're in, I will fight for you. I will. I don't charge it. I don't charge anything for my services. It's that I want you to get a clear understanding about that or what you're in. Because a lot of these things and stuff, man, I've been there and I know how it feels and stuff to be in those positions and not have any kind of understanding about that position of what you're in, and no one's really giving you any kind of clear understanding about that. You know, it's a lot of things get thrown out there and stuff to drivers, and you know, they feel like they're overwhelmed. You know, they feel like they're overwhelmed and stuff, and so a lot of times, you know, and that's what I'm starting to understand is that, you know, especially now in this economy, is that, you know, they talk about driver shortages and how drivers are not, you know, not wanting to do this job and stuff like that. Why you see a lot of people leaving from one company, go to another company because of this particular issue here and stuff. And it troubled me greatly. It troubled me greatly, even though we got the matter resolved somewhat. I did say, for all intents and purposes, is that I wasn't going to reveal the name of said carrier and said customer. But I did tell them that if I ever got another complaint, if I ever had to do what I had to do today against you, this particular carrier, then I was just going to go ahead and put the whole information up here on my page and stuff, and then let people weigh in for themselves, you know. So anyway, this particular issue was a driver that was having a problem with the OS&D department, over shortage and damage department. All right. And so, you know, the driver is particularly new to the industry. So, you know, nobody really wants to deal with the OS&D department. I mean, you know, we want to make sure everything and stuff goes off without a hitch. But these sort of things and stuff happen. And because of that and stuff, you know, we have to be prepared for it. But the company pretty much didn't prepare. They pretty much didn't prepare the driver and stuff for these sort of issues and stuff. And I'm starting to see that everywhere, because you shouldn't have to be paying for something. You shouldn't have to be paying for something that you don't have in your possession. You know, you shouldn't have to be doing that and stuff. And so this particular case, it was a driver that Picked up a load for said customer, and it had 3 stops on it. Okay, it had 3 stops on it. So the driver was telling me that the OS&D department reached out to him, and they said, well, we're having a series of problems and stuff with this load. Said stop number 2 called and said that they had 2 damage cases and 1 case that was short. Now this was the company immediately reaching out to the driver after the customer had called the company, demanding to know where their product was, you know, and talking about the condition of the load. Okay. And so the other complaint was that customer number 3, the final stop, was 23 cases short. They was 23 cases short of 1 particular item. Okay. And so the company reached out to the driver again and was saying that, and pretty much just accusing the driver of wrongdoing, having some kind of wrongdoing and stuff, you know, giving them all types of scenarios and so on and so forth. And I'm like, you know, now this is an OS&D department. And so when I heard the recording, it was rather disturbing. It wasn't professional. It wasn't professional. And what it was trying to insinuate is that the driver had some kind of wrongdoing, and because of that, that the action that was going to be taken against the driver was they were going to be paying for the product. They were going to be paying for the product. So the driver reached out to me, and I met the driver, and this is what I found. You know, like I said, I asked him a series of questions. And so, you know, after hearing the recording and stuff, you know, I knew, okay, number one, the reason why they're saying these things to you and stuff is because you have no understanding about the industry itself. And so they try to back you up in the corner because of your inexperience and make you say things and stuff on a recorded line to pretty much confess to something that you didn't do because of your lack of understanding, to make you ultimately pay for something that was actually the fault of someone else. Okay, so rounded up the paperwork, and so I said, question one: when you went to go pick up the load, did they give you the opportunity to get on the dock and count the freight? This is very important. Did they let you get on the dock and count the freight? He says no. The reason being is because this facility, you drop the trailer off and then it's preloaded. I said, okay. So then, so you didn't get a chance to verify whether the product was even on the trailer to begin with. All right. So that's pretty much an open and shut. That's pretty much an open and shut case there. So what the particular customer has to do now, and what the OS&D department does, is that they take the information, they take it back to the customer. They take it back to the customer and said, okay, on this particular shipment here, this is what you were short on, right? So the customer now has to verify that they even shipped the product to start with. So they're going to do an investigation of their own. And in most cases, that's what usually happens, is that they ship what they have. Okay, they ship what they have. They forget to go back, change it on the paperwork and stuff. And so then when you get to a place, the stuff wind up being short. And then, you know, that's the customer reaching out to the other customer and saying, well, you know, hey man, okay, we forgot to ship this. So we're not going to charge you, or we're going to ship, you know, when you order from us again and stuff, we're going to ship the extra stuff that we didn't get to ship this time because we either didn't have the product, or the product wasn't ready at the time that the shipment was, you know, so on and so forth. Those type of things happen. All right. So, the second issue was that the customer, this particular customer, reached out to the carrier and said that, well, we have 2 damaged cases and 1 case that was short. But then when I look on the paperwork that he's presenting to me, you got nothing up here on the paperwork indicating anything. In fact, you have a paperwork with the customer's signature on it, the date it was delivered, and no discrepancies, no kind of discrepancies on the paperwork whatsoever. So I said, well, this right here is just like a signed receipt saying that they received their product, that they received all their product in good condition, and that they received it in full. This is what they call clean bills, pretty much, you know. So I said that issue right there is dead. Regardless of whether they call back and say that we got 2 damaged cases, we got 1 that's short. They should have put that on the paperwork. They didn't put it up there. If they discovered it later, then they will have some kind of stamp up there saying that, well, they received it. Load is subject to count. You know, your load is subject to count. They didn't have that stamp up there. What they had was a signature and the date that they received the freight. So I said, that's a dead issue there and stuff. All right, the third stop, they were short 23 cases. Now, what the company was trying to insinuate is that maybe the other 2 stops may have taken it off by mistake. And I said, that is a possibility, except the other 2 stops, when I look at the paperwork that they're not going to take something that they didn't order. So if the load was say, you know, the load was hamburger, right? If it was this specific hamburger and everybody ordered the same thing, then I can see them kind of making that mistake. But if you ordered something and hamburger is not up there, then you're not going to reach for something. You're not going to reach for something, then check it in and say, okay, this is what we ordered. None of the other two stops ordered this specific product. So I'm like, it's not, it's just not feasible for a customer to do something like that. I mean, mistakes happen and stuff, true. But, you know, whether you're hiring somebody or whether they're unloading stuff off, they have a check-in sheet, you know, and they have to check each product and stuff to say, okay, all right, we have 20 of this. All right, we ordered 20 of this. There are those 20 cases there. We ordered 5 cases of this. There are the 5 cases there, you know, so on and so forth. And the product is going to be very specific. It's going to be very specific. So, you know, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard for that to mess up there. Okay. So, I mean, it just left me in a level of confusion. But then when I heard the conversation was pretty much a persuasive conversation to try to get the driver to admit something that they didn't do because of their inexperience. And stuff, you know. So right there, like I said, it just threw up a series of red flags and stuff. So I intervened and I spoke with the company's representative, OS&D department, and so that's when we started going down this checklist. And so, you know, after everything concluded, I said, well, okay, all right, well, we know what to do next and stuff, which is, you know, we have to go to the customer and verify their information there and stuff. You know, the tone was very calm-like, because now they're speaking to an individual who has an understanding about going through these things, you know, and going through the steps, you know. And so I kind of, you know, from there, that's when I was asking them, you know, like, listen, you know, y'all guys been in business for a long time and stuff, you know. In fact, I used to work for you guys a while back, and I don't recall you guys, you know, moving in with such aggression the way that you are and stuff. But, you know, I'm like, do you do all drivers like this? Because that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting and stuff, is that, you know, it's a very simple process and stuff. You know, it's a process of elimination, you know. And if you just simply follow that step there, then, you know, you can see, you can clearly see what happened. And, you know, now they're seeing the light and stuff like that, when I'm saying, you know, I'm not really going for it. You know, it's just, you have a company full of people that's not experienced. And then for this type of dilemma to come up, you know, I didn't want to start breaking into, I ain't want to start breaking into some real business theories and stuff. So that's why I told him, I said, if something like this was to happen again, right? If something like this was to happen again, then I have no choice but to put your company information out here and what you guys are doing to your employees. You know, so you know, they assured me that it doesn't go on and stuff like that. But I'm saying, I mean, I just have to wait to see, because, you know, I don't want to put information against a person and be slanderous. But the information that I am going to put out is going to be something that's based upon business and nothing else but business, and how you handle your business. And so you have to be very careful about how you deal with drivers, because you have people like myself and many others out here that take great offense especially when you take advantage of people who don't have very much experience and stuff inside of the trucking industry. And it's not to say OS&D is something I deal with specifically. What I'm saying is that anything dealing with trucking, anything that's dealing with trucking, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you need me to go to bat for you to get an understanding, that's what I'm here for. Because, you know, this industry is very, you know, it's a very good business. But, you know, it doesn't give you, it gives you a whole lot that you have to take in, and not a lot of time and stuff to learn things. You know, you have to learn as you go, but, you know, a lot of these learn as you go processes can be very costly, you know. And so, again, that's why my page and stuff is up, because if you have any issue, concern, or problem at all dealing with the trucking industry, then this is what I'm here for and stuff. You know, I can discern the two when you really have an issue and when you're just venting. You know, I will listen to the venting to a certain degree. But, you know, again, is that when we're dealing with business, this is what it's going to lead back to. And if you can't stay in that premise there and stuff, then, you know, that's when I pretty much have to end the conversation, you know. Because, again, I mean, it's okay to vent. You know, it's okay to vent. We all have bad days and stuff like that. But, you know, we also have to be responsible enough to understand that, you know, certain things and stuff are going to happen that we just don't like. But it doesn't mean or constitute that the business is bad or good. But when you do have bad business practices, like that certain scenario that I was explaining, then, you know, this is something that I take into consideration very seriously and try to get the problem resolved as quick as possible. Because, you know, you shouldn't have to be paying for something. You shouldn't have to be paying for something, or you shouldn't have to be paying for someone else's mistake, because mistakes do happen. But, you know, again, we have to be responsible enough to own up to that which belongs to us. And with that being said, this your man right here, the one and only, that beautiful Rhode Island Red Rooster. Telling you as always, continue to do your research, fact-finding studies, honest on your skills every day. Until next time we talk, next time we meet, be safe, be easy, and peace out.